Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Joining us now, one of our favorite guests, Dr. Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi, welcome back, sir.
Kevin, great to be back with you. Thank you very much.
You know, what's going on with you and Roger Stone with this special prosecutor? As we've said so many times, sir, we expected this under Obama, but under a Republican president, it's truly shocking.
Well, it's really a shame that, this is my book, Silent No More. It's like Gestapo tactics. And I really feel badly for, regrettably, we had to file a suit against Roger yesterday. I'm sure it's breaking in the news this morning. We filed a $25 million defamation suit against Roger. Roger has launched a vicious attack on me. It's really affected my family, my ability to get employment. Now my income's totally cut off. And Roger's been pressuring me into basically lying, and I won't do that. He has his version of different things that he wants me to agree to, and he's been badgering me and all these statements he's made. And Roger's got to understand that my goal in life is, here is to, before God and before the law, is to tell the truth. And if my version or what I see, what I testified to, is different than Roger, so be it. But I'm going to testify to what I see as the truth, not what Roger wants me to say.
Well, Dr. Corsi, let's talk about the impact. The last time we talked to you, sir, we were discussing what the special prosecutor had done to you and your family, the surveillance,
yes.
Trying to bankrupt you. And we'll get back to Roger Stone, but you have no income going on. You're surrounded. You're on national TV. Occasionally people are attacking you, and yet you're holding to the truth. Why is that so important to you, sir?
Well, it's, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and to me, when I'm under oath, I have one responsibility, and that's to tell the truth. And it's not easy to do, Kevin. I mean, my memory is not perfect, but as I've struggled through this now, going on to 6 months of reconstructing and trying to understand what happened in 2016. I've come down to some very basic things that I've testified to. I've written about in Silent No More. Roger's not being charged with any collusion. There's no collusion here in that indictment at all. The indictment that Roger is dealing with, and I don't think Roger really fully understands this, is very, very narrowly written. It has to do with lying before Congress. It has to do with trying to tamper with evidence, with Credico's testimony, and that's obstruction of justice. Now, that case is going to be decided on very, very narrow grounds. And everything in the indictment about me, I'm person one, is I have to affirm is true, because certain emails that I sent, certain events that occurred are indisputable. And I have no alternative but to tell the truth on those, nor would I do otherwise. And if Roger doesn't like it, Roger wants now to pile on and attack me, well, so be it. Roger can add to the list of people attacking me, but it's not going to, I wouldn't lie taking a plea deal to a crime I didn't commit. I did not go in front of the special prosecutor they wanted me to plead to a memory mistake. They'd allowed me to amend in my testimony. I wouldn't do that. Well, I also won't lie to save Roger Stone. I'm not here, my mission here is not an earthly mission. We all face God at the end of our lives, and I'm not capable of lying under oath. I hope I'll never do it in my life.
Dr. Corsi, you're going up against some powerful people. You're going after Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post, Roger Stone, Robert Mueller. There's a lot going on against you, sir. I understand your faith in Christ. We've talked about this for years, but in those darkest hours, how do you maintain and that you don't crack? And with all due respect, as you've said before, you're no spring chicken, sir.
Well, I'm 72 years old. It's not easy, and my family's under a lot of stress every day. But, you don't get to choose your fate in life. You don't get to choose necessarily all the circumstances you deal with. God sets them out, and you have to deal with them. Now, we're facing this as a test of faith, and I intend to remain true to God and my principles. And as such, if I have to sue people, if I have to say I'm not going to tolerate defamation, I'm not going to be forced to tell lies on the stand under oath to save Roger Stone. I'm just not going to do it. Roger's got to face the truth. And this is not a public relations contest. These are very, very narrowly drawn charges. And I've cautioned Roger before, even on national television, that you got to understand the special prosecutor has been very thorough. They have everything. I think I've been under illegal surveillance for years. And this is you're going against a team with unlimited resources. And Roger is not going to be able to talk himself out of this one. His lawyers better sit him down and explain to him, what the nature of these charges are. And the fact is that, for instance, the evidence that they produced for me as person number one is indisputable. It happened. I wrote some emails, and I was looking to see what Assange had. Roger wanted to know what Assange had. We all did. That wasn't a crime. But in fact, Roger's talked himself into this indictment. If Roger doesn't stop, he's going to talk himself into prison.
Dr. Jerome Corsi joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning here, KIDO Talk Radio. Now, let's talk about the book for people that don't know about it, because, look, we've got to support you, Dr. Corsi. You've been with us and supported me personally for years. So for people that are interested in what's really going on, what's it like to be in the crosshairs of the special prosecutor, is this the book for them?
Well, yes, Kevin. We rushed it out into an ebook, and also I narrated the 9.5 hours of the audiobook in the iTunes. Silent No More is the title. And this is the first book that really goes hour by hour what it's like to be, in a closed-in room in an undescribed, no FBI building, got no FBI on it, in southeast Washington, me and my lawyer, no windows in this conference room, facing 3 prosecutors from Mueller's team and 6 to 9 FBI, and being grilled for hour after hour after hour, 40 hours, 2 months. It was a grueling experience. And I object to the nature of the way they questioned me, because I went in to cooperate, brought in my computers, my backup devices, and went in to tell them the truth. From day one, they begin to act like you're a criminal. They ask you, did I want to go send anybody to see Assange? I said no. Well, they said, we got this email from 2 years ago that you forwarded to Ted Malloch in London from Roger Stone saying, go see Assange. I'd forgotten about that. They allowed me to download my 2016 emails. It took 10 days. Came back, and I amended the testimony. But yet when they wanted me to plead guilty to one count of this knowingly and willfully giving them information I knew to be false on a material event to deceive them, which I did not do. They wanted me to plead guilty to the first day's memory error, not to acknowledge the fact that they allowed me to amend it. I wouldn't do that. But now we're coming full circle, and Roger Stone's out there defaming me, and interview after interview after interview, and objecting to my recollection that I write in Silent No More, various events that happened. And I won't change my story. I won't lie to save Roger. That's what everybody's got to understand. And if the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, they were the ones who circulated the story from the special prosecutor that severance pay I was getting from InfoWars was hush money. Well, that's nonsense. But it ended my ability to see if there was any future way to work with InfoWars. InfoWars just said, here's the letter on termination and severance, and that's what this is. Not hush money. How could I be hushed? I've been the most vocal person out there.
Right.
But
you have.
This is really a grueling experience. And it's, coming down to it, Roger's case does not touch the president. It has no collusion. This is not a collusion case. There's no collusion mentioned anywhere here. It's really a relatively, it's a serious offense to lie to Congress. But, Roger's not the first one to do it, and there's unequal justice. Why isn't Comey being prosecuted for lying to Congress? Why aren't others? But at the same time, I can't be put on the stand and asked by Roger to lie. That's why we filed the suit. got to know, and the world's got to know that I'm going to tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, Dr. Corsi, and we're here to, again, take care of you in the book. As you said, this is Breaking on Drudge this morning. We've got intentional infliction of emotional distress, coercion, and threats are intended to try to give you pain, to have heart attack, strokes, in order for Roger Stone to run wild and free, if you will.
Well, Roger's got to understand this is not a public relations event. He's not going to win his court case by running his mouth. This court case is going to be decided on very hard and cold facts, and the prosecutor has drawn a very limited indictment. People should read the indictment. It's very, very limited. Roger said this before Congress, and here's certain facts that the prosecutor brings forward that can demonstrably prove that what Roger said was false. That's the case. That's simple. And Roger's not going to be able to, threaten me and talk his way out of this because it doesn't work. I can't lie. I won't lie under oath. And that's now apparently, that's what's breaking this morning when we filed the suit. We're also going to put a motion forward for supporting the gag order on Roger. The defamation's got to stop. Roger's ruining my ability to get any future employment. And I've tolerated it up till now, but Kevin, I can't tolerate it anymore. It's destructive of my family, and it's destructive of my future ability to work as a reporter or as an author.
Well, and
Roger can't be allowed to do that kind of damage.
Well, between Roger and the special counsel team, Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt, CorsiNation.com. What's it like to work with our old friend Larry Klayman? And again, Dr. Corsi, your defense is not cheap, and they squeeze you criminally and they squeeze you economically, sir.
That's right. Well, right now we have no income. I have not been in that position for longer than I can remember. And even though I'm 72 years old, family has obligations and needs, and they quickly go bankrupt paying the legal fees. Larry's a brilliant attorney, and Larry will fight viciously for my defense. And I think he is quite creative and quite good. David Gray, my other attorney, is also remaining on the case, and has been a brilliant thinker, very serious. I read about David in the book Silent No More. People have got to listen to this book. The audio book is what I really recommend right now. The print edition won't be out until March. This takes that long to get a print edition in the store. But this is the real story from the inside of what the Mueller investigation is like. And, the subtitle is How I Became a Political Prisoner of the Mueller Witch Hunt. And now, Kevin, that lining up right behind it, the Senate Intelligence Committee has subpoenaed me, so now that's round two. I'm not out of round one, and round two is beginning.
And then we have Roger Stone as well, Dr. Corsi. It goes back to your faith in Christ, which you've always talked about or written about. I still go back to your brilliant work in the past concerning your investigative reporting, breaking news on Obama, and yet here we have a Republican president, a Republican administration, Republican Justice Department going after you. We always feared that it would be Obama.
Well, the deep state operatives that have been in charge of the Justice Department, I can think you can see that now with the fact that, Strzok and Page and McCabe and all the, I think, clearly criminal misdeeds on the FISA court, electronic surveillance of Donald Trump, and we can't get an attorney general who will do anything about it. And I don't know whether the Justice Department is capable of cleaning itself up. But if we get politically prosecution, if we now start criminalizing politics, it's a very bad path for us to go down as a nation. And the Democrats are foolish in their hatred of Donald Trump to think this is going to succeed for them because the pendulum swings. And the Democrats themselves are going to find themselves, under the same kind of examination. We should not have, a justice has got to be blind. Can't have politics. That scale can't be tipped in favor of the hard left. Hillary Clinton can do anything and gets away with it. And, I write books and try to become a journalist. And here I am, going through 6 months of sheer agony with my family. because I wanted to know what Julian Assange had and what emails he was going to drop. Every journalist in the country wanted to know that. I've never spoken to Julian Assange. I've had no contact with him. I couldn't give the special prosecutors what they wanted, and that's why they blew up my, 40 hours with them and decided they wanted to pressure me into, lying and swearing this crime I didn't commit before a judge in order to stay out of prison. To put me, if that's what it's going to take, put me in prison the rest of my life. And now I'm saying to Roger and all the rest of the country, people may not understand it, but I don't have any deal with the special prosecutor. I haven't turned on Roger. We have no wink going behind the scenes. They named me as person one in Roger's indictment. What was said there is true, and if I'm on the stand, I'll affirm it because I have no choice to God and to the law but to tell the truth.
Dr. Corsi, a final thought. You as a person, based on your immense life experience as an investigative reporter, there you are in the room, you're there with your attorney, and all of a sudden, do you feel that you're in a totalitarian state because these prosecutors can keep you as long as they want, they can control your behavior? Can you take us there in that first-person experience?
Yeah, they have unlimited power. And they're sitting there with an 8-inch thick book of my life. They ask you a question, and they pull out tab 32, and they say, well, this email you wrote 2 years ago contradicts what you just said. I said, why don't you show me that email first? Why did you ask me this? I'm here to cooperate with you guys. Why are you trying to trick me on all this? I said to them repeatedly, my memory is terrible. They all stand up as a group, pick all their papers up off the table, stomp out, call my attorney into the next room, talk for an hour. I'm left in this windowless conference room pacing around, not knowing what's going on. I've got a observation globe in the ceiling. They can watch me from another room. It feels like I'm in a Kafka novel, or this is, the Soviet Union about to send me to the Gulag.
Dr. Corsi, what's the best way people can support you, sir?
Well, go to CorsiNation.com. We're raising money to stay alive and legal defense funds. It's all there. And people can contribute. They can buy the book Silent No More, and they can pray. And these are the things we're asking people to do.
Dr. Corsi, we appreciate you getting up so early. I know you got a lot of interviews. As always, you have an open door here anytime, sir.
Thank you very much, Kevin. God bless you, and God bless all your audience. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, Dr. Corsi, our great friend, Dr. Jerome Corsi. A real-life experience filing a lawsuit today against Roger Stone, defamation, filing a lawsuit against Bezos and the Washington Post, not copying a plea, telling the truth, talking about his faith in Jesus Christ right here. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you, Sean. Man, Sean was on fire last night. Don't forget Lars Larson following Sean Hannity, Conservative Talk from 3 until, all day long right here on KIDO Talk Radio. Sometimes people accuse us, Kevin Miller, you never give the equal time to anybody. You don't give time to the libs, with the exception of Liberal Steve. Well, let your hearts not be troubled. Here is OAC, or OCO, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Until they can prove that they are honoring human rights, until they can make a good faith effort to expand and embrace immigrants, the immigrants in this nation that have always been a part and have always been a core element of American democracy. Until they can prove good faith to an American ideal, they do not deserve any resources for their radical agenda.
I guess we are the watchers of the wall, the keepers of the flame, I see. And you ever meet just a young person, maybe a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old that just knew everything? I can remember my parents going, oh, well, if it isn't Mr. Know-It-All. And I remember everybody saying to me, the older you get, the less you know. She's Mrs. Know-It-All. She's Miss Know-It-All. She knows everything. They. Well, if we are the they, madam, let me respond to you. Go tell those folks in Laredo. Go tell those folks in San Diego. Go tell those angel families that they don't deserve a wall, that they don't deserve immigration enforcement. KIDO Talk Radio Time with Kevin Miller in the morning, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Is 6:29. Let's get you to work safely. And don't forget, before Dave Ramsey, it is Glenn Beck who follows us right here on KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Fox News in the Treasure Valley, live to Capitol Hill. Rachel Sutherland joining us, Fox News Radio. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
So the president, as if he doesn't have enough enemies, it's time to pay the piper. Representative Schiff versus President Trump. Who wins?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, Adam Schiff right now has the power to investigate the president, and he's going to be launching investigations that are wider than a Russia probe. It really doesn't have anything to do with a Russia probe, but he's going to be looking into the president's finances. He is going to be looking into whether the president was somehow improperly influenced by Russia, and it's probably upsetting the president that Adam Schiff is hiring people who are experts on the National Security Council, which means these could be former employees of the president. So whereas I think, he denied to CNN that he's straight up pulling staff over from the White House, certainly this could be very uncomfortable for the president.
Right. You just wonder if that's a conflict of interest or something like that, right?
Well, it seems that way, but they would certainly be more in the know than, I guess, other folks. But right now, this is what Democrats had promised to do. In fact, they campaigned on it pretty much. We're going to investigate the president. We're going to, even talking about trying to impeach President Trump. That's not going to happen as long as the Senate is in control of Republicans, though. So all these investigations just makes you wonder, what will they uncover, and are they worth it, with the time and the money?
What about the deal possibly to avoid a shutdown? We heard that might go on, or is that just smoke?
No, actually, it's sounding positive from both sides, saying that they are getting closer to a deal that could have a handshake on it within days, saying that there will be some kind of border fencing or some kind of structure along the border. I don't think they're calling it a wall, and they're not giving the president as much money as he wanted, but it may be something the president will accept, because I know that Republican senators do not want another shutdown. And so they may be leaning on the president to go ahead and accept it.
Well, that, and we possibly are on our way to having a new attorney general.
Oh, absolutely. William Barr. That vote could come soon, and this comes as the acting attorney general, Matthew Whitaker, here in about an hour, will be going before the House Judiciary Committee for testimony that he really, there was a lot of fighting over whether or not, he would go. He is appearing willingly, but if he tries to exert executive privilege, it could be that the Democrat in charge of it, Jerry Nadler, the chairman, could slap him with a subpoena right in the middle of everything. So that was what he was trying to avoid. So this could be kind of a splashy kind of hearing.
Jerry, having watched Jerry Nadler for years, I don't think there will be anything but splashy or spicy with him.
Yeah, he gets pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And they want to know why he did not recuse himself from the Russia probe as acting attorney general, and they want to know about his communications with the White House. So when it gets to communications with the president, I think that's when he's going to throw down the executive privilege thing, and we'll have to see what Jerry Nadler does.
Rachel, you got a lot of work ahead of yourself on a Friday.
Yeah, always, Kevin.
Have a great day, ma'am. Thank you.
You too.
Joining us now, the lovable liberal Steve on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio.
Well, buenos dias, Idaho. Oh, man, I just wanted to get the violin out for PhD Corsi. I've written 20 books on conspiracy. I said Obama wasn't born in the United States. I've gone after John Kerry in the boats. I've gone after him constantly, and now the deep state dystopia. Is that how you pronounce it? Dystopia? They're coming after me. I'll be incarcerated forever. Oh, and I have no money, but yet I'm paying one of the highest paid attorneys in the United States of America. Oh my God, where's my Social Security when I need it? Oh, now even Roger hates me. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. My mom is turning over in her grave. Oh, and I miss you, Mommy.
Anything else?
No, that was it. I mean, you have these deep state individuals on. Tommy quotes the deep state, doesn't he? Who is the deep state anyway? Is that like a fictional character like
No.
Batman?
No. The deep state are the people that are trying to usurp the power of the president and undo an election, sir.
Oh, stuff like
I would say something to you about, hey, we could have you debate somebody, but the last time we did that, you ran away.
Kevin, I don't. Give me somebody to debate that doesn't bore me to death, that isn't just full of, he'll buy you a Coke if you show up.
Here's Max from Garden City with Liberal Steve with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Steve. Are you going to hang up this time?
I wouldn't hang up on you, Maxine.
Thank you very much, sweetheart. Because the other day when you hung up, it left us all wondering exactly what part of the truth scares you the most. The truth,
when
the
you
whole
walk
truth,
around
or nothing but
when
the
you
truth.
walk around your Hitler's Gestapo, you dream of Stalin and the KGB and Mahler's and a cultural revolution. And do you put socks on right away when you get up in the morning?
Oh, you sad, sad little man.
Oh,
why don't we discuss an issue? Why don't we discuss an issue?
Why don't you let him finish, Liberal Steve? Let him
do you
finish.
Not get enough sunlight?
Liberal Steve, quit the over-talking, please. You don't like it when it's done to you.
Liberal
Please.
Steve, why don't we take up an issue?
I
Instead
don't
of
want any
attacking me.
tissue. You don't know what an issue means. Rex, I don't need any tissue. I'm not crying. You're the one always crying.
I was looking for you the other day at Dave & Buster's, and you never showed up. I put out a bounty on you. I promised a steak dinner to a few people if they'd point you out, but you never showed up. You are all talk and no action. Like Kevin says, you're all straw and no hat, buddy.
Me, the silly, stupid State of the Union, and I was there in my cognito. But
you were not
Did
there.
you say you were in your
Had you been there, my
cognito?
people would have found you.
I feel good. I feel there's somebody out there that really wants me and likes me. Rex was looking for me in a crowd of people.
Well, believe it or not, I don't dislike you, Steve. I don't dislike you at all.
I don't dislike you either, Rex. I despise you.
Now, his name is Max, number one. And number two, quit insulting him, Liberal Steve, and Max is going to answer your questions. We're going to debate factually. We're not going to sink to your level with personal insults.
Mr. Miller, with your yappity radio voice, I have not insulted him at all. Name one.
You are insulting yourself, Steve. Every time you open your mouth, you insult yourself, and you sink to an even lower level of depravity and ignorance. If that's even possible, you are the greatest self-inflicted injury I've ever heard of.
Rex, I have no. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Rex again. Max, I have no crimes against the deep state. I've not.
You know what the deep state
You've
is?
written books.
You're throwing two words out there, deep state. You know what you're talking about? What is a deep state?
My attorney tells me that it's a dystopia.
Your attorney. You can afford an attorney in your cardboard box with your burner phone. You can afford an attorney.
That was a pretty good one with the burner phone, the cardboard box. That was
Max, do you clean your meth pipe in the glass house that you live in?
Oh, I keep forgetting there is the ACLU.
Oh,
they'll take on anybody. So I guess you probably do have an attorney.
Forgetting. How come your people are losing left and right? And now,
who are my people?
Adam,
I'll give you a shock. I will shock you. I'll say something that will blow you away. If you want to go down to the library and get on the internet and go to maxallen321.blogspot.com and read my blog, I think you will be shocked. You will fall on the ground.
He will
Not
read your
necessarily what
blog.
it says.
He will read your blog. He's all about that. He likes to.
If you'll read my blog, it will knock you down. It's going to come out of left field. You won't even see it coming. I posted it yesterday.
Wow.
If you'll take up the challenge to read it, maxallen321.blogspot.com. You'll read that, 3 paragraphs, and you won't know what to do if you can read. It doesn't mention Trump that you don't know.
Since the election,
Tell you what,
Donald Trump
you're
is
afraid to
president.
show up. You're
The
afraid to
hard
debate.
left
You're afraid
people
to
like
be where
Max
you are. You're
have
afraid to do anything at Welsh.
targeted me.
So you're
They
afraid.
spearheaded
Don't be so
attacks
afraid.
against me. I mean, have you ever been on Alex Jones, Max?
Alex Jones, I've heard of him. I've even listened a couple times.
Oh, you first you heard of him and you even listened a couple of times. So you know who.
Sure.
Have you ever been on there?
I know you've never been on there. You're a moron. He has better things to do with
Oh.
his time than listen to the ramblings of a drug addict.
Maxie, you and your kind are so in favor of political censorship, and Miller and his bunch and all.
If there was political censorship, your whining ramblings would never make it on the air.
And that,
KIDO does you the greatest favor in the world by giving you a voice.
and that'll have to be the last word. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Liberal Steve. Back to the Democrats' new Green Deal. Don't forget Mayor Tammy joining us next hour to talk about why she's hanging up the cleats being the mayor of Meridian. You're listening to Kevin Miller, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. They're home for Hannity, KIDO Talk Radio. And I was listening to our great friend Sean Hannity last night, and he was talking about the new Green Deal. And those of you that work the farms, maybe you work the farms as a child, maybe you're still working the farms, whether you're a friend Johnny and Weezer or wherever, the new Green Deal. This is from CNBC. Set sky-high goals to cut greenhouse gases to nearly zilch. And then there's the controversy that Sean was talking about yesterday, the idea of getting rid of, quote-unquote, farting cows. That's according to an initial outline of the ambitious new resolution from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Edwin Markey of Massachusetts, which aims to fundamentally re-image and reimagine the United States economy with the environment top of mind. They're looking to have zero net greenhouse gases in 10 years. And the lawmakers have said we set a goal to get net zero rather than zero emissions in 10 years because we aren't sure they'll be able to fully get rid of farting cows and airplanes that fast. That's a quote. Farting cows. Now, at the time the story was published, on the frequently asked questions page, the phrase, quote, farting cows appears to have been removed from the Ocasio-Cortez website. Fox News' John Roberts reported that the language was tweaked to emissions from cows in an update which also appears to have been deleted. I didn't know that cows emitted things, but anybody who's worked on a farm, anyone who's been around cattle, understands that, like people, like all animals, you have the emissions, right? And can you believe these people are actually talking about getting rid of airplanes and getting rid of cars? Now, I love this, and the farmers, God bless them, that are always under attack. Here we have from their propaganda, livestock farming produces about 18% of all those environmentally damaging gases. And about a quarter of that chunk comes from cow farts and burps, according to the United Nations. Now, how in the world can you get rid of America's nearly 100 million cows? This is just how crazy they are. By the way, if you're having trouble waking up this morning, let's take a listen to Congresswoman Cortez, shall we? And the Democrats' new Green Deal.
Nancy Pelosi is a leader on climate, has always been a leader on climate, and I will not allow our caucus to be divided up by silly notions of whatever narrative. We are in this together. We are 100% in this together.
And there we have it. Let's talk about how they're going to pay for this new Green Deal.
This president seeks to expand government into the bodies of women. They seek to expand government to spontaneously generate detention centers all along our southern border. They seek to expand government in separating children from their parents. They seek to expand government in passing massive increases in...
They. Are your ears burning yet? 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's get you to work safely and on time.
Start tonight into the area for tomorrow morning, and then it kind of bit into maybe some rain. I'm News Channel 7's Larry Gebert.
Larry, thank you very much. KIDO Talk Radio. Here's Nancy Pelosi.
All kinds of ideas coming forward. We welcome all of them as they highlight the importance of this existential threat to the planet.
Well, the threat to the planet, of course, it's called industry. It's called making America great. And by the way, you know, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to eliminate everything, well, how are people going to travel? Are we all just going to get on the trains? And the other thing that is so disconcerting about this agreement is, what about the Chinese? The Chinese continue to have huge manufacturing factories. And I'm sure Max would tell us how bad the air is. In fact, when we first met Max, when he came back here from China, he talked about how bad the air is in China because they don't have any restrictions on the pollution. It's like America was back in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, back in the beginning of the Gilded Age, back when nobody cared. You remember that? Maybe you lived east of the Great River. Maybe you visited. The air was just bad. Also, if you lived around a paper mill, you know what I'm talking about. This Democratic new Green Deal will break it down, and I can't wait to hear from you on this very issue. We'll talk about that before Glenn Beck. Do want to remind you, KIDO Talk Radio is your home for Fox News on the radio. 107.5 FM, 580 AM, right here in the Treasure Valley. Good morning.